listening to a download from the outdoorstation.co.uk.
Number 281.
Welcome to the Travel Show.
I think it's a splendid idea. Podcasting around the world.
The UK's best podcasting show for world travellers of all ages. Welcome again.
It's a podcast full of hints and tips for travellers of all ages travelling to all places.
It's all about getting out and having much more fun.
This podcast is one in a series of 4 and covers a trip undertaken in 2009 around Croatia. Accompanied by my friend Alice, we set off on a 3-week adventure. As we had just financed 3 years of university, we were keen to keep things on a budget, and so chose to visit Croatia because of its cheap and easy access, as well as its beautiful landscapes and deep history. Throughout this series, we describe our surroundings on our chosen route and some of the experiences as well as adventures along the way. Where possible, we talk to local characters and fellow travellers to find out more and give listeners a true flavour of the country. We stayed in hostels and homestays throughout our trip and carried all we needed for the duration in small rucksacks. For those of you interested in a budget trip around Croatia, this is the podcast for you. Part 1. An incorrect assumption on my part meant our adventures began as soon as we stepped off the plane. Alice and myself managed to get ourselves out of bed and to Birmingham Airport. In the early hours of the morning, we were off to get a flight with Ryanair to Trieste. We found this to be the cheapest way into Croatia, as the Italian city lies near the border of Italy and Slovenia, and it's only a short bus ride through Slovenia to Croatia. But before all of that, we had an early morning flight to contend with. Now, although the journey to Slovenia and Croatia from Trieste is relatively simple, in the excitement of our first day of travel, we somehow ended up heading in the wrong direction.
So we got off the plane at Trieste, and minor panic on my account because I've had previous occasions on Ryanair when there's only been one bus that's left the bus station, and that's been pretty much as soon as you've got your bags. So we headed out to find this elusive bus, but suddenly there was lots of bus stops and lots of buses you could possibly get onto. And we got chatting to a man who told us that the ticket machine was out, so it was fine to sort of get it on the bus. And he started running for a bus, which we assumed, okay, so I say we, and I mean me, assumed that it was actually for the town centre. At which point we jumped on the bus, and the driver tried to pay the driver, but he kept waving and talking Italian and saying a UD to us, which I didn't understand. I thought it was something to do with Italian. But anyway, someone else on the bus translated and was just like, just get on the bus, you can pay when you get to the end stop. So we're like, great. I got chatting to this Polish guy called Marcin, and he was really nice, really friendly, told us about sort of the area, like the main foods in this area of Italy, which he was very passionate about, which was cool. And then we came to realise that we weren't, in fact, headed for Trieste. We were, in fact, headed for UD, I think that's the right pronunciation, which was a lot further north than we intended. And during this time, we also met a guy called Paul, who is doing a similar thing to us, kind of heading to Croatia, but he's got a bit longer than us, so he's not quite sure where he's going to end up. And he kind of got dragged into it all, really. And so we got to UD. Everything's fine, lovely weather. Anyone want to say anything about the architecture and where we ended up going after that?
We found our way to the tourist information place and found out that it was probably too expensive to stay in the city, on a budget, so we're headed back to Trieste on a train to hopefully find a hostel to stay in that's a bit cheaper tonight.
Yeah, they said at the tourist information they're really helpful, and they sort of said, you know, the cheapest place were hotels and B&Bs, and they were like €30 a night, which really we just couldn't afford. So we're heading back, but it's been a very scenic route, and it's lovely weather, so it's nice to put the shorts on. And what did you see, Alice?
I saw a little lizard.
So we're obviously on holiday now. But we've just been sat at the train station for the last half an hour, waiting for the train to come, and just been chatting to Paul actually about his previous trip in Europe. How long were you there last year?
We were there about 5 or 6 weeks. We spent travelling around.
Yeah. Actually, just before we go into this, could you just sort of introduce yourself and say what you're doing, where you're from, that sort of thing?
My name is Paul. I was a student at Manchester. I just graduated doing economics and politics. And I just figured I'd get away for a while, spend some money travelling around, and see a bit more of Europe.
So did you kind of want to do this side of Europe because you didn't get there from the the travelling you did last year on the Interrail?
Yeah, doing the Interrail last year, we didn't come down as far south as this. We went to Slovenia and Hungary and Romania, but that was as far as we went. So I wanted to come and do Croatia and Serbia and places like that, really.
That sounds cool. And do you have a time frame? Did you have a direction before we kind of dragged you onto the bus with us?
No, not really. I just figured that, like you, that was the bus to Trieste and that we'd be in Croatia in no time at all. But I don't really mind. I don't care where we end up. There's no plan anyway, so it's no bother really. Yeah,
it worked out for the best in the end. And from your sort of experience with the Interrail last year, were you keen to do that again, sort of, but use it this end of Europe?
No, not so keen. No, we didn't really find it was that useful. We spent a lot of money, about €400 I think, on it. And we still had to pay for reservations and the sleeper trains, which is the one we used. You used the most to travel and spend a night. It just seemed sensible. But we felt that we had to move around, use the trains a lot to get our money's worth out of the Eurail, the Interrail pass. So I decided against it this year. I just figured I'd just pay the full fares and wing it on the way. Yeah, I think that's I think we've got more of a plan when we get to Croatia, but this bit we didn't have a guidebook and stuff for, or a map, which if we had maybe it would have been a different story. But I mean, it all ends up fine in the end. We're heading back the way we need to, and it's not too expensive. I mean, the train we've got second class, and it's about an hour and almost 2 hours, and it was €7.05 or something. So it's relatively cheap-ish. So yeah.
Especially since we didn't pay on the way in.
Yeah, there was a bit of confusion with the buses, and it turns out there wasn't a ticket office where we got off. So we kind of missed that one, but not to worry. We paid this time. Okay, so we're just got another hour or so on the train, and hopefully we'll find a hostel. Stay tuned.
After the unplanned turn of events on our first day, we eventually made our way to Pula in Croatia and had to find an extremely comfy bed for our first night. Sadly, by the time we did arrive into Pula, most of the hostel rooms were already taken, and so we started our Croatian adventure with some flash packing in a hotel that even included breakfast.
So here we are on the second day. We didn't podcast in the end last night because it was a very, very long day. The last time I think we spoke was when we were on a train back to Trieste. From there we realised that we wanted to go on to Paola. We did initially look at the youth hostel there, but we figured it was sort of mid-afternoon, about 3 o'clock-ish. So we'd carry on. The train we did initially the bus that we initially wanted. The only way down to Paola for future reference is only by bus. So the bus we wanted was fully booked at 4:15. So we got the 6 o'clock one, which took us to Paola we got there quite early. It was 8, wasn't it?
8 o'clock.
It's supposed to be later though, which was good. So we got into Paola at 8 o'clock and didn't have anywhere to stay. We did look on the internet in Trieste, but unfortunately there was nowhere that was available that night, so we thought, we'd just wing it, but got directions to the 3 hostels that were on the internet. Unfortunately, the hostel we walked to was fully booked. They had loads of people. There were people on the floor, and would they buy another bed?
Yeah.
But luckily they sent us on to this hotel called Hotel Riviera, which is kind of Soviet style.
Slightly more expensive, but it includes a good breakfast, so you can take your own lunch as well, and good comfy beds, nice shower pressure, bit flashbacker really. Yeah, a bit too flashbacker, but by the time we got here last night, it was absolutely knackered, so it's just happy to have a bed. So basically, for future reference from those who are flying to Trieste, I would definitely recommend to check which bus you get onto when at the airport, because there are quite a few and they're quite frequent, which is good. If you are coming straight down to Paola or even in Trieste, to be honest, I think for your first day of travel, it's always worth booking so you know where you are and you can kind of work yourself from there. Otherwise, you're just knackered and kind of off to a bad start. But this morning's lovely. It's beautiful weather outside. We've got a lovely balcony view, sea view, and amphitheatre view. And so today, what were we planning today? I think we were hoping to go and have a look around the old amphitheatre and then catch a bus out to probably some of the only sandy beaches in Croatia. So that should be good.
So chill day today, and we're staying here another night, stretching our budget a little bit just to sort of relax and get a lot of sleep. So yeah, it's going well today. I'm sure it'll be a lovely day.
The hotel that we stayed in whilst we were in Pula was steeped in history. The architecture and design was from the early 1900s, and coming down the grand staircase you could really imagine the hotel guests from another time enjoying the luxury that this hotel would have once represented. Interested to find out more about the hotel's history and about Istria, the region in which Pula was based, I spoke to Aldo, the hotel manager.
So my name is Aldo Faraguna. I'm in charge manager of guest house Hotel Riviera. The house started 1907, so 102 years, always hotel. This hotel is particularly here because that was, the Pula town was the main military harbor in that time, the main of Mediterranean, and that's the reason why they built. This hotel was made for high levels of admirals, captains of ships and these things, and they live it here.
So what year was that?
That's 1910, 1920. That's First War, before First War.
And so how long have you been working here?
I'm here 6 years, but I'm in that company for 30. So
you know the industry very well.
I know many things. And this hotel, after finish First War, always was hotel. There was under Italian state, and they put here financial police till 1940. The 1940 took some Italian private, always like hotel, until 45, 46, end of war. For 10 years till 1956 was nothing, empty, and then 56 they renewed it and put it in military of Yugoslavia, always hotel or military stuff. 1970, pass in the hand to work with in a kettle Arena Tourist. And now in 2 years we are in Plaza kettle because they are owner with Goldman Sachs, and they have a nice project for them. In the future, Arts Hotel with 4 stars.
You're planning renovations?
Planning, yes.
Okay.
It will be closed 1-2 years till the end of works, and everything will be done on the same way, on the same style like before.
Mm. So would you say now, since sort of the military's left, what nationality of tourists come here the most?
The whole mixed Europe. So British people, French people, Belgium, Netherlands, Germans, Italian.
Lots of variety then.
Oh, the whole Europe, we are very near, and that's the reason why Istria is so without crisis of tourism because we are very close connected with those.
So have you always lived in Pula?
Yeah, live in Pula.
So you know the good tourist sites. Is there anywhere you'd recommend in particular, any villages that are nice to visit as well, if you wanted to explore this area more?
Particularly in Istria, not only Pula. Pula is the south of Istria and it's the main economic center. Then we have a town, small Motovun, with some mushrooms special.
Oh, those are the truffle.
Yes. So, and inside a big new agro-tourism, and you find honey, you find ham, cheese particularly. Is the Istrian cheese the number 2, 3 in the Croatia of quality. Nice town. The nicest on the coast is Rovinj, the main center touristic. So all the west coast is a nice coast to pass through. In the near Pula is Archipelago National Park Brioni, 14 islands. It's open national park and have them on story from Rome story, like Pula story is 3,000 years old town from Imperium Rome. So it's a big cultural center for this region.
Yeah. We went around the amphitheatre today and the history there is brilliant and the restoration that they're doing is really nice as well.
The most saved arena in the world is this amphitheater Pula. There are only 6 in the world. This is the not so damaged like Rome's or Spain, whatever. They don't have completely.
That's really insightful and it's nice to hear sort of about the history of the region. It seems like it's very rich. But thank you very much for taking time to talk with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
After a few days' rest in Pula and our first experience of Croatian ice cream, we were ready to start our travels. We got an early morning catamaran to one of the nearby islands, Mali Lozenj, and after our experience with arriving late in Pula, we got there nice and early, so we had time to explore, as well as finding that all-important room for the night.
Day 3 in the Big Brother house.
Day 3, and we are now at, how do you say it? Veli Lozenj.
Veli Lozenj?
Veli Lozenj. Basically, since we spoke yesterday morning, we spent the day in Pula, which was lovely. Went around the amphitheatre, had a kind of wander around town, which is really nice, in the evening especially. And we spent the day at the beach. I, being silly girl, was like, oh, back to 20, 25, that would be fine. No, respect the sun, that's what I would say. So today I'm wearing 40 because I'm ever so burnt, but that's by the way. So we decided to get a ferry to one of the islands. There's 5 a week. They don't do...
There's no ferries on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they all leave at 7 a.m. from the port in Pula to Zadar, stopping off at Mali Lozenj on the way. And
that was 50 kuna. And then it will be 50 kuna on from here to Zadar, as that's what we end up doing. So we got into Mali quite early this morning, which is great. So you've got plenty of time to work out sort of where you're going, and it's not too hot carrying a rucksack. And kind of found basically that there's very, very little budget accommodation. Sadly, we haven't found anything for under 150 kuna just yet, which is a lot more than we hoped to pay, but I mean, it's a very picturesque, it's a gorgeous town. We've actually moved around to the smaller area, which is Veli Lozenj. Veli Lozenj, I can't say the words. And it's very cute little fisherman ports. There's really nice like pastel houses and cobbled streets and things, so we're looking forward to exploring there later. But we're actually staying at the youth hostel here, which looks really nice, clean, tidy. They let us in when they shouldn't do because they clean from 10 till 2. So you're not really supposed to come in, but they obviously saw we were sweating, like, please let us put the rucksacks down. So they let us in, and breakfast in the morning as well, which is great. If you're not a member of the Youth Hostel Association, it's kuna to
Tourist tax.
Yeah, tourist tax. But you know, it looks great, so we'll see how things work out later. But yeah, hopefully planning to be here for a few days, have a wander around the coast, and yeah, kind of decide where we're going next, because we're kind of getting through the places we wanted to go to quite fast just because of the price of stuff. So it's really up in the air. It's all quite exciting. Any thoughts to add, Alice, that we've...
I think we're just going to go for a bit of a wander today, around some coastal paths and go for some more swimming in the sea to cool off, but...
Yeah, definitely to cool off.
Not much more to add.
Yeah. Okay, so we will probably get back in touch in a few days' time and see where we end up then.
It really is a wonder what a few days on a beach can do. 3 days into our travels, and we really are enjoying life on the coast. We realised that accommodation may be more expensive than we budgeted. However, we decided that we were there to relax and we're just going to accept it, enjoying our time in Croatia as cheaply as possible. This did mean we had some picnic suppers in beautiful locations like Veli Lozenge.
So me and Alice are sat here with a very romantic picnic. The sun set probably about half an hour ago now. The horizon is still tinted with a nice red glow. Gorgeous, gorgeous sunset. And we're surrounded by a few night fishermen, which is very nice. So it's a very romantic setting for us too. And we've just had a picnic tea, which was sort of local produce, crackers and cheese and tomatoes.
And peanut butter flavoured Wotsits, which is quite bizarre.
Yeah, we thought they were Wotsit type things, but you know, we'll try the local cuisine, that's fine. But it's quite a cheap way of having a dinner, interspersed with meals as well. That's by the way. So our few days in I can never say this word.
Veli Lozenge.
There we go, Veli Lozenge. Has been lovely actually. The weather has been fantastic. The beaches have been rocky, but we found one today which was paved with crazy paving stones, which made sunbathing a lot easier.
Yeah, much more comfortable and a good gradient.
Yes, I think we're going to grade the beaches on pebbles and gradient. And we also hired some bikes today, which was really cool.
I found it slightly scary, but then I haven't ridden a bike for about 10 years.
Yeah, the bike paths are all around the coast, and it was about 20 kuna for an hour, but it gets cheaper every hour you hire it for. But the paths are quite narrow, but absolutely beautiful coves, and we went just sort of as it was getting a bit cooler, which was nice, around 7 o'clock. And there was loads of families out, and people were like fishing, and lots of beer on the docks, and it was just really picturesque. And tomorrow we are getting a
catamaran.
I was going to say bus, but that's really wrong. We're getting a catamaran to Zadar from Veli Lozenge. Getting up bright and early to do that. But really enjoyed our time here actually. It's been very, very chilled. It's quite touristy, but the Veli Lozenge is quite is that much smaller than Veli Lozenge and kind of a bit cute with pastel houses and things. We stayed at the youth hostel, which I think we mentioned before, and that was really, really good. It's only been open 2 years, but nice accommodation. You know, people of all ages, clean. Nice showers, very friendly, very helpful staff. So we'd definitely give them a thumbs up. They're only open in sort of tourist season, which is kind of to be expected. So yeah, it's going well so far. Kind of just fitted into the traveller mode, 3 days in, and a bit more tanned and windswept and interesting.
And what she means is sunburnt and mosquito bitten.
That too. Between us. Yeah, we're very English. Everyone else on the beach is ridiculously bronze, and hear us come along with a English rose skin. But there we go. But yeah, it's going very well so far. And we've got high hopes for Zadar because we've heard that little old women come to the port and sort of offer rooms in their house, so hopefully get a bit more of a authentic Croatian feel. So looking forward to that.
Join us again in part 2, where we visit the coastal city of Zadar and talk with some Croatian travellers in the homestay, finding out some destinations they like to visit which aren't in the guidebook.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To hear more from our extensive free library, please visit the website at theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
You can now follow The Outdoor Station on Facebook, where we chat about each programme we produce, answer questions and discuss future productions. Why not join us there?
This podcast is produced and hosted by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.